Ever feel like you need a cheat sheet just to understand what's really happening with consumers right now?
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
like the ground is constantly shifting under our feet, keeping up. It feels like a full-time job sometimes.
It really does.
Well, today we're doing exactly that. A deep dive into the 2025 Global Consumer Trends Analysis and a whole bunch of related sources we've gathered. Our mission really is to unpack the biggest shifts, zero in on those key data points, and pull out the surprising insights. Basically give you a shortcut to being really well informed about where consumption is heading.
It's true, and the landscape is just so complex. It's almost like a living thing. What's really fascinating, I think, is how interconnected all these major trends are. They're often driven by this, well, powerful combination. Economic pressures, which are huge right now, massive leaks in technology, and also these big shifts in societal values.
Right.
It's not just one thing changing, it's the whole ecosystem pushing and pulling everything else, sometimes in ways you wouldn't expect.
Okay, so let's unpack that first big driver you mentioned, economic pressure. It seems like one of the most significant currents right now, leading to this huge shift in how people are spending. Our sources are calling it the rise of wiser and rational spending. It feels like a real pivot. Consumers are, well, they're way more cautious, more strategic. They're really prioritizing getting genuine value for every single penny.
Exactly. Value is key.
And the data really backs this up. Get this, over half, 54% specifically, of these rational consumers, they're actively trying not to buy stuff they won't actually use.
Makes sense. Less waste, more focus.
And 41% are now explicitly planning their purchases. That shows how deliberate they're being, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the absolute kicker. Nearly half of all consumers, 49%, say price is now their single most important factor when choosing a brand. Price.
Wow, almost half.
Yeah. And you can see this caution playing out in what people plan to cut back on for 2025. Dining out, entertainment, food delivery, even non-essential clothes. They're all high on the list. We're talking reductions in the high 30s percentile for each.
That's significant.
And if prices keep climbing for everyday things, a huge 60% said they even cut back on snacks and candies. That's a massive shift away from those little impulse buys.
And that intense focus on value, it connects directly to what we're seeing as cost sensitivity to popular products. When the cost of raw materials shoots up, it hits consumers right in the wallet, often for basics.
Yeah, like essentials.
Exactly. Take cocoa, for instance, up by an unbelievable 128%.
Whoa.
Coffee's up 43%. Milk, 44%. These aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. These increases ripple through, directly impacting sales across whole categories. And consumers, they feel it. Our research shows 33% are most worried about food prices going up, then 20% about utility costs, and almost 1 in 5, 19%, are worried about the threat of recession. It just fundamentally changes how they decide what's essential versus, what's just nice to have.
So it's clear, people are watching every penny. But this intense focus on value, it isn't just about saving money, is it? It seems to be fueling a deeper look at what really matters. And for more and more people, that seems to be their well-being. Which brings us to another massive shift. This health and wellness revolution. Proactive health is really becoming the new wealth, you could say.
Absolutely.
Big pivot, moving away from just treating sickness when it happens towards actively preventing it and focusing on holistic well-being, mind, body, spirit, the whole package.
And what's truly fascinating here is just the sheer scale of growth predicted in this health sector. It signals a fundamental redirection of the market. The global wellness industry, for example, is projected to hit an incredible $7 trillion by 2025.
Type in trillion.
Yeah, and the global health tech market, expected to reach $650 billion in that same year. And if you drill down, things like brain health, joint health, vision products, those are projected to be the fastest growing segments between 2024 and 2026.
Interesting specific categories there.
Very. And then there's the whole emergence of GLP-1 drugs, those medications often used for weight loss. The data shows 31% of global consumers are actually considering using medication to help with weight loss.
That's nearly a third.
It is. And this isn't just some niche pharma trend. It's potentially going to reshape the entire food and beverage industry as demand shifts massively towards healthier, lower-calorie options. That creates huge challenges, but also immense opportunities for brands. And this whole sector, it's being supercharged by the rapid adoption of AI in health. Just over the past 3 years or so, it's shifting from passive treatment to active health promotion, putting way more power into the individual's hands.
Okay, so moving from our bodies to our digital lives, which are becoming more and more intertwined, we have to dive into what our sources are calling the AI paradox and integration.
Okay.
AI is getting woven deeper into our daily routines, offering amazing convenience, but it's also raising some pretty big questions and concerns for people.
No doubt. And the data clearly shows this deep, accelerating integration. 40% of consumers, they're already willing to accept purchase suggestions from AI assistants.
40%.
And another 40% are regularly using AI for their daily buying decisions. Just think about the scale of that. By 2025, the prediction is a staggering 70% of all consumer interactions will involve AI tech.
70%.
Yeah, it's not just a trend anymore. AI is fast becoming the default way customers engage, and businesses see it too. They're rapidly adopting generative AI for customer experience. We're talking 70% of enterprises expected to integrate it by 2025.
So it's on both sides, consumer and business.
Absolutely. And what's kind of surprising is how readily consumers are embracing it even in physical stores. 92% are eager to try AI-driven interactive displays in stores.
Really? That high?
Yeah, it really shows how quickly AI is becoming normalized, across the whole consumer journey.
That deep integration of AI, it leads us perfectly into the omnichannel transformation and simplification. It's all about how those lines between online and offline shopping are just blurring completely. And consumers, they have this strong, almost non-negotiable desire for things to be seamless and straightforward no matter where or how they interact with the brand.
And live commerce is a perfect example of that integration and simplification, isn't it? It's a true hybrid.
How so?
Well, 42% of consumers use live shopping specifically to quickly understand product features and get that convenient, often immediate experience. And this isn't just for, the tech-savvy early adopters. 75% of consumers now use 2 or more channels for shopping, and 30% use at least 3.
Wow, multi-channel is the norm.
Totally. And the quality of that experience really matters. A good, easy-to-use app that makes 36% of consumers willing to spend more. It just underlines that convenience and frictionless interactions are absolutely key.
Okay, here's where things get maybe a little more playful, but really interesting. We're seeing this huge rise of the experience economy and short-term dynamics. Consumers want more than just stuff. They're actively looking for engaging, memorable experiences. Think retailtainment.
Retail what?
Retailtainment. It's literally turning shops into entertainment spots.
Yeah.
Often using games to make shopping fun.
Okay. Like making it an event.
Exactly. And you see it everywhere in these short-term traffic dynamics too. Things like pop-up shops or those flash live shopping events. They create these unique limited-time experiences that don't just sell things, but they generate massive brand buzz. That whole fear of missing out, FOMO.
Right, creating urgency and excitement.
Yeah. Now, shifting gears a bit, these changes also reflect how our values are evolving, maybe a greater sense of global responsibility. Let's talk about environmental awareness and ecological choices. Being eco-friendly isn't just for niche markets anymore, right? It feels like consumers are making more practical decisions now, weighing environmental benefits against personal usefulness, almost calculating the ecological value.
That's a really significant shift, and the numbers definitely back it up. As of Q2 2024, get this, there were 5 million online SKUs product listings with sustainability claims. That's across 11 major consumer goods industries in 25 countries.
5 million.
Huge number. And the global market for sustainable products, it's projected to hit $1.5 trillion by 2025.
Trillion with a T.
Exactly. And consumers aren't just saying they care, they're putting their money where their values are. On average, they're willing to pay about a 9.7% premium for sustainable products. That shows real market-driven demand for ethical, green options.
Okay, so as we get more globally aware, there's also this interesting counter-trend emerging. Hyper-localization and data privacy trust.
People seem to want more local connections, but at the same time, they're getting really concerned about how their personal data is being used.
That's a key tension. Consumers definitely show a preference for supporting local businesses. A solid 64% say they're willing to do so. That desire for connection, for local roots, it's strong.
But then the data.
Right. But then you look at the digital side, and this raises a really important question. People are getting increasingly worried about their data. By 2025, 60% of consumers are expected to use what are called data wallets.
Data wallets, what are those exactly?
Think of them as like a central, user-controlled hub for your digital identity. It gives you, the user, unprecedented power over who sees your data and how it's used.
So more control back to the individual.
Precisely. And in an age where AI can create incredibly realistic fake content, the need for brand authenticity is just paramount. 98% of consumers believe authentic images and videos are crucial for building trust. That's almost everyone. 98%.
Hmm.
Authenticity is basically table stakes now. And building on that idea of shifting values and identity, we're also seeing this deeper diversification of lifestyles. This covers a lot from, minimalism gaining appeal to a bigger push for flexible work-life arrangements.
Hmm.
And there's also a really strong demand for inclusivity. 82% of consumers think brands should actually increase their LGBTQ plus marketing efforts.
Right.
It feels like a call for brands to reflect a more diverse, authentic reality.
Definitely. And it's not just about new trends. We absolutely have to acknowledge the huge force of the silver economy.
Ah, yes, the aging population.
It's a global thing, and it's massively boosting demand in areas like health, anti-aging, and smart home tech designed for older adults. This global senior market, expected to hit a staggering $8 trillion by 2025.
8 trillion, another massive number.
It's a demographic shift with enormous economic weight.
And finally, kind of connecting back to that idea of access over ownership we touched on.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing the subscription economy expansion. Subscription models are moving way beyond just Netflix and Spotify.
Right, into physical goods, higher value services.
Exactly. This market's projected to hit $1.8 trillion by 2025. And it seems largely driven by younger consumers who, interestingly, often prefer access to things rather than owning them outright.
That's a fundamental mindset shift.
So let's try and bring a lot of this together and talk about that powerful younger group. We really need to introduce the critical importance of Gen Z, the digital natives. Their unique behaviors are truly reshaping consumption everywhere, setting completely new expectations for brands.
It's really quite stark when you compare Gen Z's behaviors to, say, Gen X and Gen Y. Take social responsibility. Gen Z is way more active. 53% prefer brands that focus on mental health. 47% prioritize environment and fairness. Gen Y cares, sure, but they tend to be less proactive in making purchases based only on those values.
The Gen Z puts their money where their mouth is more often.
It seems like it. Then look at sustainability and secondhand. Gen Z is actively driving this. Right. 61% actively look for used goods. They're powering that resale market, which hit, $108 billion in 2024. They're much more proactive than older generations in embracing that circular idea.
Okay. What about media?
Totally different world. Media consumption. 94% of Gen Z streamed video in 2023. And their ad attention span, incredibly short, like 1.3 seconds on average.
1.3 seconds.
Yeah. Compare that to Gen X, still relying more on traditional TV, longer content. Then product discovery for Gen Z. It happens mainly through social media, completely unlike Gen X, who still lean on traditional ads.
Makes sense. How about money?
Banking and payments. Gen Z adopted mobile banking super fast, expected 97% by 2027, and nearly half, 46.7%, used buy now, pay later in 2023. Much higher adoption than older groups.
The NPL is huge for them.
Huge. And AI and tech. 61% of Gen Z have a positive view of AI content. They're just way more comfortable interacting with and trusting AI experiences. And consistently, they value experience over material stuff. They want moments, not just things.
Right. Experiences.
And finally, they expect personalization and influencers to guide them. They're highly influenced by social media figures, way more than Gen Y or X. It's a whole new trust system.
Okay, let's unpack that. For brands listening, what does all this mean for actually connecting with these incredibly influential younger consumers?
Our sources offered some, let's call them secret tips. First, community segmentation or finding these warm circles. It's not just about age or location anymore.
Right, it's deeper.
Yeah, you need to focus on shared interests, behaviors, even psychological profiles. The insight here is if brands can find and genuinely connect with these warm circles, young people will spend more freely because they identify with the brand's values, not just the product.
That identification is key. Second, and it's directly related, delivering brand value. Success really hinges on making consumers truly identify with your brand's values and mission. If they do, they'll spend. Think about Supreme. They built their whole identity around a very specific subculture, street art. Because of that strong connection, that cultural meaning, they could consistently raise prices and do huge collabs with luxury brands like LV. It's about the culture, not just the t-shirt.
Cultural cachet, yeah.
Third, offer experiences, not just goods. This means creating compelling ways to use the product. Telling a great story, sure, but more importantly, providing real-world immersive experiences. Look at movie theaters. They evolved beyond just a screen, right? 3D, 4D, 5D, even full restaurants inside. It's all about designing unique physical moments that offer more than just the movie. It's an event, a memory.
Making it special.
Fourth, what our sources called young people prefer soft over hard. This is about content design, avoiding confrontation, embracing their language, their slang, their memes. Remember that Pommy Juice ad? It intentionally took this provocative stance, like showing vegetables literally hitting young people. It was a humorous stunt to get attention.
Ah, I think I remember that. Edgy.
Totally. It worked because it spoke their language, even by being a bit cheeky and confrontational in a fun way.
Okay, what's the last tip?
And finally, tip number 5, innovative services. There's this constant need for novelty, for engaging stunts, those unique, often viral moments, just to capture attention and win over these younger consumers. You got to break through the noise with creativity.
Always something new.
Always something new. So to wrap this section up, it really means redefining CP value for 2025. What does this all mean? Well, the old simple idea of cost performance, it's basically out the window, totally reshaped.
That's absolutely right. Our sources say a massive 85% of consumers now believe product value isn't just about the item itself, it's the entire shopping process. Every single touch point matters.
The whole journey.
The whole journey. And this new CP value, it's defined by what we're calling the 4 conveniences.
Okay, lay them out for us.
First, convenient acquisition. This is about super easy access through seamless omnichannel models integrating online and offline. Think about Shopee convenience stores in Southeast Asia, buy online, pick up nearby, loyalty points connect. It's smooth. What's kind of counterintuitive here, though, is that for many consumers, free shipping is often more important than even fast delivery. So cost convenience can sometimes beat speed convenience.
Interesting trade-off. Okay, second.
Second, convenient abandonment. This means surprisingly easy returns and exchanges. The data shows 79% of consumers actively choose platforms that offer easy return.
Makes sense. Less risk.
Less risk for them, but this convenience comes with huge, often hidden costs for businesses. We're talking repackaging, cleaning, maybe disposal if it's a hygiene product, complex reverse logistics, multiple transaction fees.
Wow, yeah, that adds up.
It really does. It's why you hear stories like someone buying 20 dresses online just to try one on and return 19. Or platforms sometimes telling customers to just keep a wrong item because returning it costs more than the item itself. That's how critical and expensive this convenience has become.
Mind-blowing. Okay, third, convenience.
Third, convenient exchange. This is about the ability to easily circulate and trade secondhand goods. You see it everywhere now. Parent groups trading baby gear, online platforms for swapping furniture. It taps into both value and sustainability.
The resale economy again.
Exactly. And finally, fourth, convenient upgrade. This refers to products that have high compatibility, products that don't lock you into one specific format or ecosystem. The IKEA app is a brilliant example. It uses augmented reality, so you can virtually place furniture in your own room. It makes deciding to upgrade or buy something new incredibly easy and visual without the hassle of store visits or tricky measurements.
Removes the friction. Very cool.
Very convenient.
So all these dynamic trends we've just unpacked, the AI, the shifting values, Gen Z's demands, this whole new idea of CP value, they really seem to converge on one incredibly powerful force: social marketing. It feels like the connective tissue holding it all together.
Exactly. It really is. Our sources break down 4 key opinion roles in social marketing and show how smart brands are leveraging them to create these really effective closed loops. First, you have KOLs, key opinion leaders. These are your experts, your celebrities. They're used mainly for broad brand exposure, creating that aspirational feeling and conveying the brand's spirit.
Give us some examples.
Think Dyson partnering with tech reviewers for credibility, Nike signing LeBron James for global reach, or Rihanna, she's like the ultimate KOL for Fenty Beauty, perfectly embodying its whole vibe.
Okay, KOLs. Got it. Who's next?
Second are KOCs, key opinion consumers. These are your everyday users. Their authentic peer-to-peer content drives word of mouth and that valuable user-generated content, or UGC. Brands like Perfect Diary use them heavily for affordable alternative-type content. Glossio famously gets like 80% of its content from users, building press through real experiences. Xiaomi's My Fans are a powerful KOC group giving direct product feedback. And Shine thrives on an absolute army of micro-influencers.
So real people, real reviews.
Exactly. Third, KOFs, key opinion friends. These are those powerful, often private communities and friend networks that build deep loyalty. Glossy's dedicated Facebook groups are a prime example, or Shine using friend invitation discounts. They leverage existing social connections for brand promotion.
Tapping into existing trust.
Precisely. And fourth, KOSs, key opinion sales. These are your sales associates, or increasingly live streamers. They directly convert interest into actual purchases through direct engagement and showing their expertise.
The closers.
The closers. Think of Dyson's guides in store, demonstrating products that lead straight to online sales. Or top live streamers like Li Jiaqi in China, who drives absolutely massive sales for brands like L'Oreal and Perfect Diary during live events. They are the ultimate conversion engine.
And the proof is definitely in the numbers, isn't it? These aren't just theories, they drive real results, like Perfect Diary. 70% of their traffic from social platforms, a 15% conversion rate on Xiaohongshu, that's huge. Glossier had a $1.2 billion valuation by 2020, largely off that 80% user-generated content.
That's incredible numbers.
Dyson saw a 40% jump in online sales in China in 2021 using these strategies. Nike's digital revenue, 26% in 2022, with social boosting online sales by 30%. Fenty Beauty, over $550 million in its first year, over 1 billion exposures for hashtag Fenty Beauty on Instagram alone.
Wow.
Xiaomi's My Fans contribute 30% of new product pre-orders. Shane, valued at $66 billion in 2023, with hashtag ShaneHall getting over 15 billion views on TikTok.
15 billion.
Red Bull, 10 billion cumulative YouTube views by 2022. Old Navy's TikTok challenge, 300% increase in brand exposure, 25% rise in quarterly sales. And L'Oreal, over $1.3 billion on Tmall during Singles Day 2023, with live streaming bringing in over half of that. These aren't small changes, they're business transformations.
And what all these examples really highlight is the huge strategic advantage for brands that effectively integrate these roles, KOL, KOC, KOS, KOF. They're not just using them randomly, they're orchestrating them. They create this continuous closed loop. Traffic leads to trust, trust leads to conversion, conversion leads to retention. It maximizes economic value by building these deep, lasting relationships with consumers.
Wow, okay. What a deep dive today. We have really covered the dynamic, often surprising, and just incredibly interconnected nature of these 2025 consumer trends. If there's one core message that seems to come out of all these sources, it's this. Digital platforms, AI, they're just incredibly powerful tools. But the real mastery, the real edge, it lies in deeply understanding that ever-evolving customer profile and being ready to adapt strategies fast.
Indeed. And, knowledge is great, but it's most valuable when it's not just understood, but actually applied. We really hope you listening think critically about how these insights might be used maybe in your work or even just in how you navigate the world as a consumer yourself.
So given these huge shifts we've unpacked today, the economic crunch, the wellness boom, AI everywhere, Gen Z's expectations, that whole new idea of value, here's a final thought for you. What's one established industry you think is most vulnerable if it doesn't adapt to these new consumer realities, and why?